30-point range and tying a franchise postseason record with 18 threes in Game 2. Chris Haynes knows all of that because he is on the Suns-Nuggets series and with us from the Mile High tonight ahead of Game 3. Chris, good to see you. Last we saw the Nuggets, they were getting blown out, then chewed out via the media by their head coach, Michael Malone, for what he called quitting in Game 2. It's not the first time he's taken his team to task, of course, but what's been the fallout?
Well, there hasn't really been a fallout yet. Now, I'm interested in seeing how they're going to come out in Game 3. As we know, Mike Malone has done this in the past. He did it as early as last series. And so I'm looking forward to seeing the response. Now, Mike Malone's chewed them out. Aaron Gordon and JaMychal Green chewed out the team after Game 1. There was also a little banter going back and forth after Game 2 in that Nuggets locker room. So there's a lot of people being chewed out with this team over the last couple of games. I think what they want to see ultimately is that they're going to respond. And it's a good thing that they're at home now because that atmosphere in Phoenix, man, it's incredible. So they're in a good situation right now to be playing at home, but ultimately it's how you respond from it.
Chris, has there been any thought of how Denver can get Michael Porter Jr. off early in this game? I think that we know what the MVP, the Joker, is going to do. We know what Jokic is going to do. We feel like he's going to get his numbers just because he's just that confident in his offensive game. But is there any extra effort to say, hey, man, we got to get Michael Porter Jr. going early, get him some good looks? Because last game, I think he was like 3 for 13 from the floor. And when he's not going, Joker really doesn't have that secondary option now that Jamal Murray's hurt.
Yeah, he has to get going. I'm just not sure how they're going to go about doing it because Michael Porter is suffering with that back soreness. That is plaguing him right now. He's not going to come out and say that it's been a detriment to his game, but it is. And then when you talk about Joker, you know, he's going to get his points. And the thing about what the Suns are doing, which is so fascinating, is that DeAndre Ayton, to be a young guy, to be in the playoffs for the first time in his career, is playing the Joker straight up. And we all know how the Joker likes to play. Yes, he's going to get his 25 to 30, but he's also the facilitator. He's also the guy picking teams apart. He's not allowed to play his whole game in its totality because they're not sending doubles. So if they're not sending doubles, there's not guys that he can find for open cutters, for open threes. There's not guys really helping. And so DeAndre Ayton, yes, he is going to give up his 25, possibly 30 points. But they would rather Joker score 30 points and have 3 assists than Joker having 30 points, 10 assists. That has been the key in this series. And and the Suns getting out running on makes and misses. They just been tough to beat.
Chris, on the Phoenix side, we've talked about Chris Paul has been brilliant, Devin Booker, and I thought DeAndre Ayton has really grown up in this series. I don't know if we're getting enough credit to Mikal Bridges, a guy who's playing on both sides of the basketball. What's your take on how he's playing? He's quietly going and averaging. He's getting 23, 17, but he's guarding the best player a lot of times on the wing. What's your thoughts on what Monty Williams is talking about, what Mikal Bridges is bringing to the team?
He's your prototypical 3-and-D player. Look, he was matched up on LeBron James last series, and LeBron could not get around him. Obviously, LeBron was nursing that high ankle sprain. But LeBron couldn't penetrate on Mikal Bridges. It had to be in a transition situation if LeBron was going to go downhill. But with that being said, Mikal, man, he's just in the right spot. You know he's going to be in the corner. You know he's going to be there, and he's hitting that shot with good regularity, and his teammates believe in him. And on the other end, he's going out there defending. He's a long, versatile guy that can guard multiple positions. So for a young player like that to be playing with so much poise, like a la Devin Booker, young player playing with so much poise. Like, I'm just really impressed with this Suns squad, man. They got leadership, intangibles all throughout that locker room, and they got young guys that are not playing like they're young guys. And it's really fun to watch.
Well, speaking of leadership, Chris Paul has 26 assists and a single turnover through 2 games of this series so far. And, of course, these are the moments for which the Suns traded to get him in the first place. How would you describe the level of belief his teammates have in Chris Paul at this stage?
You know, guys, there was a moment that stuck out to me in the fourth quarter of Game 2 when the Suns were just taking the game away. Chris Paul was just calm, cool, and collected on the sideline. He was out of the game. he allowed for the players to celebrate because they were jumping up and down off dunks and threes. He allowed it. But I saw some of the players looking at Chris Paul and see how he was reacting. And then I saw a lot of players like kind of calm down themselves. It was almost as if, you know what, Chris is telling us we still got more to do. So that leadership right there, even without even saying anything, just about being a model for that team, it speaks volumes, man. And then with Monty Williams, man, like I said, I think he's one of the best motivating speaking coaches we have in this league. Those two right there leading this group, man, it's just incredible to watch.